What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. We're going over the 212 Olympia right now, and to absolutely no one's surprise, going into the competition, Keone Pearson takes the win. He gets his third 212 Olympia title. I do think this year was actually closer than last year, even though Keone also made improvements from last year. I got to be honest, it wasn't that noticeable on stage, but what I did notice was the improvements from Sean, especially in the width of his lats. I also think his waist came in a little bit more and a little bit more muscle in the quads, and he was definitely grinding hard, but it pretty much just comes down to your genetics at this point, and Keone just has overall more size and a better shape. I do actually think Sean was slightly more conditioned. He was definitely really granite hard, but when you look at the shape of Keone, the width of the shoulders and the small waist, I just think he, kind of took it away in the front poses. And from the side, I think, even though he was probably slightly edged out in conditioning, I just think he kind of out-muscled Sean a little bit. And then from the rear, I think this was actually way closer than last year. I thought Keone absolutely blew Sean out from the rear last year, but this year, especially in the back double bicep, I would honestly venture, in the back double anyway, I actually think I like Sean's back more. But when you look at the legs, Keone is so dominant in the hamstrings and in the glutes that he does take both back poses. I think in the back lat spread, it's also a more clear pose for Keone just because of the width of the shoulders. So I pretty much had Keone winning every single pose just due to his overall structure and size. Even though Sean was a little bit more conditioned, it's still bodybuilding and it is a size game, and with the shape gives him the illusion of even more size. So Keone, I think, pretty handedly took the win. I know that at prejudging anyway, there were a lot of people like, wait a minute, Sean actually looks really good, and I do think this was Sean's best ever package, but still not enough to beat Keone. So Keone, three-time Olympia champion. He was asked by Bob if he was gonna do, an open show, or we already know that, but plans after Prague if he wins to qualify, because then he qualifies for the Olympia and Open, and he says, I believe he said that remains to be seen, so he doesn't want to give us any real information on that just yet, but I would expect Keone to probably move, if he does win Prague anyway, to move into the open class, because he's capped out his weight cap for 212 now, so he can't really make any more improvements in this category. So I mean, if he wants to keep improving, the only logical thing to do is to go to open. So I do think he's going to go to open, but I may be wrong. Maybe he pulls a Flex Lewis and he just stays in the 212, and if he does stay in the 212, I don't think he'll ever lose, because he's just so freaking dominant. The C-bum of the 212 division, even though he's only won 3 times, he's just such a dominant champion that I think he can win 10 years in a row. But that's pretty much what I got for you guys today on, the 212 Olympia. I think, other than Keone and Sean, I gotta be honest, I don't really care too much, but, those guys are definitely keeping that category afloat. So that's my opinion on what happened. Let me know if you guys agree, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.